You want to just have Joe Burrow turn around and hand the ball off to Chase Brown? Like what sense does that make?
Welcome in, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander. Krause. That's my co-host, Johnny Mac, John McMullen, back for another day as we now prepare for NFL Week 3. Week 2 concluded last night on a Monday Night Football with a doubleheader. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Tuesday morning, brother?
Doing well. Yeah. Let's get to the LA Rams. Let's get to some good football. I think we're going to see some good football this weekend. Well, I think the Eagles are going to be tested. Maybe they stand up to the test, and this gets them out of their sort of little lull offensively. But I think it's going to be a good test this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, John, a couple good tests coming up for this team. So we're going to see how that pans out with the Eagles and the Rams. I think the Rams team is going to be more positioned, John, to test that defense. Now we'll get into that game and everything that comes with that, but I do think it's going to be an interesting test for the Philadelphia Eagles. Johnny Mac, yesterday you had a chance to talk to Nick Sirianni. I know he doesn't give you much. Did he give you anything yesterday before we start to move forward on this week?
Well, he was honest about the lack of explosive plays. It's like, which at this point, I'm surprised when he admits things like that. But, I mean, it's hard to have one explosive play, the 28-yard go route. And, that's it, basically. And it was a 13-yard run, the touchdown run. I think Devontae had a 13-yard reception as well. So I mean that part of it's not sustainable to win consistently. But the craziest stat I saw yesterday was the Eagles have 4 games, and this is not new. They have 4 games over. That was the 4th game over the past 2 years where they've had under 100 net passing yards. Four games, which is not good. They're 4-0. They're 4-0
in those
games. Those games. To give you an example, there's 22 other games where teams have finished under 100 net passing yards, which, by the way, 32-team league doesn't happen that often.
Exactly.
5-17.
Holy moly.
So, I mean, this team's living on the edge right now. And, they keep winning 18 of 19, 16 straight when the quarterback starts and finishes. That's pretty freaking good. But, man, the minute that football bounces the wrong direction, or the right direction for the other team, and that slight win turns into a slight loss, the shit's going to hit the fan. So they better fix this.
Well, I think the hard part to understand about those stats you just rattled off is we do have maybe the best tandem of receivers in football. It'd be one thing if we had not the greatest receivers. You're all right. Some days we can't pass the ball all that well. We got probably the best tandem of receivers maybe in football, if not a top 3 tandem. How the heck do we have that many games where we're not passing the ball?
Yeah, it's incredibly strange because they have other games where they look unstoppable. Like if you have a bad passing attack, in most NFL cities. Like if you can't throw the ball, you have a poor quarterback. You can't throw the ball. You have a poor quarterback. The Eagles have these extremes where, again, they look unstoppable. Like, what do you do? And then they have these games. I can't come up with a comp. It's so bizarre.
What's the reason that we're 4-0 as opposed to the rest of the team being 5-17? Is it the defense? Is it Saquon Barkley? I guess the right answer is probably a combination of everything.
Yeah. I know that bores people, but it's everything. It's the defense stepping up. It's a special team step. It's Jake Elliott banging 58-yard field goals after penalties. It's Braden Mann pinning people back. It's coverage on special teams. It's defense. It's, taking the ball away at the goal line. Even if there's a little luck involved. I mean, their turnover ratio, Jeff brought up 38-9. 38-9
Crazy.
over this 18 of 19 game stretch, which really would have been 19 of 19 if Jalen didn't get a concussion in Washington. It truly is, and Nick said it again, it truly is the ultimate team sport. And they bought into this mindset, and both Nick and Jalen said it after the game. Take pride in what it takes, like to use the Chris Jones example. Don't let these idiots say anything about you just throw for 100 yards. Take pride in what it takes to win the game. And they bought into that. So Nick deserves a lot of credit as well, because in most environments, this kind of stuff doesn't work, especially when you have star players. Like I heard a discussion about Joe Burrow's hurt again. He's going to be out probably for the season.
Yeah, a couple months, at least 3 months.
And I'm like, there's this weird give and take. Like, all right, that might be the best quarterback in football. And it's like, this will be his third season-ending injury if it comes to fruition. They've also gone to a Super Bowl and 2 consecutive AFC championship games in the middle there. And, it was a pretty downtrodden organization before Joe got there. Still is, still very cheap. We always talk about it. But anyway, and I heard this discussion. Well, the best way to protect your quarterback is to run the football. Blah, blah, yeah, the old school 1972 thinking. Yeah, I guess. But you have, to your point about the receivers, you want to just have Joe Burrow turn around and hand the ball off to Chase Brown? Like, what sense does that make? You're the best quarterback in football, but you're out of getting hurt. So I can't drop him back. Like, you have to accept your lot in life. You can't control that shit. You got a great quarterback, use the great quarterback. You got a great wide receiver, use the great wide receiver. You got a great running back, use the great running back. Right. Happen to have all of them.
Well, are the Eagles doing that? It almost feels like they are, but they're just leaving out the other shit. They have some good players that they're using and relying on. They have a great defense that they're relying on. They have Saquon Barkley, but they're just not getting everybody involved.
Yeah, well, they tried. I mean, you saw that the first play of the game looked like it was going to be a shot to AJ, which is no surprise. They have this history of when something had the over in Grand Calcaterra whiffs. Yeah, and all of a sudden, and you don't know what's going to happen, or certainly watching on television. I always bring that up because Doug told me that. I mean, when Doug set me straight on play calling, it's like sometimes we have the worst play call in existence, and somebody makes a play.
Right.
And sometimes we got him. Sometimes we got him. I mean, we caught him in whatever, maybe a zero blitz, and it's there. And the left guard misses a block, or the right guard misses a block, or the tight end in this instance misses a block. And you never know. And you sit there, oh, this is a terrible play call. And again, it works both ways. Doug has said, yeah, sometimes didn't work at all, and the player picks you up. So anyway, tangent, but I was surprised how honest Nick was, and maybe he was sick, maybe he's on cold medicine. So, he's like, yeah, obviously we have to have more explosive plays, which, come on, if you're arguing against that, you got the you're drinking the Eagles Kool-Aid if you're
Well, are
arguing.
you under the impression that they're going to be able to do it again? And remember last year we talked about all the way up until the end. Basically, the margin for error is so small, maybe too small. You're not going to be able to go through the whole year doing it this way. Well, John, it appears 2 games in, brother, they're on the same trajectory as they were last
And
year.
I don't think they are. If you look at the contextual games, it could, again, not only you're talking about one play, you're talking about, okay, you're counting on CD Lamb dropping the football. You're counting on Travis Kelce dropping the football. That's not shit you want to count on, especially later in the season.
Yeah,
Nick
right.
had mentioned one thing about early in the season, you're going to see drop passes. You're going to see missed tackles, especially the 2 things he mentioned. He's 100% right. That's exactly what's happened, not only in Philadelphia, but around the league, all over the place. That's going to stop at some point. Like if you're playing Dallas whenever and you're counting on that again, it's probably not going to happen again. It might, but I doubt it. So if you're in that tight window, like last year, yeah, it's a small path, but last year they were doing it more things better. They were dominating, and it just felt, it felt like they were better than everybody else. Do they look better than everybody else so far? Would you say they look like the best team?
No, but it's early. I mean, they didn't look like the best team through the first couple weeks last year either. You know what I mean? So it's so hard to gauge where we are only 2 weeks in.
Well, yeah, but that's all you have. So if you
Right.
look at through 2 weeks, so if you pull up again, PFF 13 different categories grades the teams. Eagles are 10. That's not bad. It ain't 1, it ain't 2, it ain't 3, it ain't top 5. By the way, the Rams are number 2. Green Bay is obviously number 1. The, until it happens, like nobody's going to believe it, but you're going to have that jaw dropping moment when the drop pass turns into the touchdown, and all of a sudden there's 30 seconds left, and the Eagles are going to lose a game if they don't fix this issue, which they have everything to fix.
And the issue,
issue,
in your opinion, is what? Precisely the offense, the explosive plays, and moving the football effectively.
Yeah. I mean, you can't win in the NFL with one explosive play consistently. You can't do it. You can't do it this week. I guarantee it. Maybe it's just the personality of the game. Maybe the personality of the game that the Rams are going to score some points.
Right. They are much more positioned to take advantage of any inequities on defense.
So they're going to score some points like they did in the playoffs last year in a crappy environment. It's not going to be a crappy environment. They're going to score some points, which means you have to score some points, and the personality of the game is going to be different. So that alone might help the Eagles ramp it up. And I think it probably will, to be honest. But this has not been an impressive 2 weeks offensively. I think we could all agree. We should all be able to stipulate that. Defensively, it's been better than expected.
Yeah, I agree. I think defensively they've been pretty solid. I think ranked out in the top 10 in the PFF. You brought up their gradings there. I think defensively in the first 2 games they're 8 or so grade wise, not statistical wise. But so I think defensively, I think they're ahead of schedule, to be honest. I mean, still some stuff to clean up, but we had a lot of questions on that defense coming in. I think where they are, I feel pretty good about. Offensively, I think is where the questions lie. Now, John, how do you gauge for the people listening, for the great Eagles fans who tune into this show each and every single day? And we always say we have a smart bunch of Eagles fans, and I certainly believe that to be true. How do they gauge it? Because last year we did kind of talk about the same thing, right? Like the margin for error is too small. It feels unlikely that they'll be able to walk their way to a Super Bowl and get it done this way. They ended up doing it, and now through 2 weeks, as ugly as it feels, we're 2-0, you know, and I know again, I don't want to fall in love with that because we know how records sometimes, you know, if you don't recognize the problems, it'll lie to you. How do you gauge where they are through 2 weeks, you know, as compared to how it looked last year, where it looked ugly too? But shit, it worked, John, all the way through.
Well, if that's the expectation, it's not good. Again, and that is the expectation. And the Eagles know that, and that's why Nick said it. You know, again, 2023 existed. You saw 10-1 collapse. Right. Now that was defensive minded. And you think offensively, look, they're not going to collapse because there's too many good players. So I don't think you have to worry about 2023. But it is indicative of, you can't just say, oh, everything's fine because we won 2 games. When you mentioned the defense, it's top 10, as you mentioned. Well, coming into this game, the Eagles are 28th in passing offense in those same rankings. And the only teams worse are Minnesota with the god-awful J.J. McCarthy, Miami, which is an absolute walking disaster. Mike McDaniel's cooked.
Yeah, he's done.
Tampa Bay, surprisingly, but they haven't done last night. I'm sure it'll be better. And Denver, and Bo Nix has been a disaster the first couple of games of the season in his second year. That's it. Those are the only teams worse than the Eagles when it comes to passing efficiency. That shouldn't be. I mean, you know, you understand what's going on in Minnesota. You understand what's going on in Miami. Even Denver, a lot of hype in Denver, but doesn't surprise me that a second-year quarterback is taking a step back. It surprises me that the Eagles are down that low. Shouldn't be, but we said that last year when they had these.
Well, look, I mean, you're right in that a lot of stuff has to go right if they're going to be this. If they're going to keep up this offensive style of play, will they be able to get that type of luck and that type of ball to bounce their way 2 years in a row? It's a fair question, John. Real quick, we'll read a couple super chats, then we'll get the great Ed Kratz. I can't wait to talk to Ed. It's been a bit. I'm looking forward to it. ZZZ checks in. Rams and Bucks aren't going to let us get away with sloppy play like that. They're too well coached. I could see Puka and Tay torching us. They got 2 good receivers over there, John.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Puka, Devontae Adams, they're coming in here, by the way, to an offensive, the Rams, number 1 in passing game efficiency. So they're playing well early, small sample size, but they're a good team. I think the personality of the game will help the Eagles. They're going to have to force the issue a little bit more on offense. You can't just go into the shell. Part of it is they just go into a ball security shell too. I should bring that up.